We are going to be talking about motivation. Really excited to have a nice podcast on this topic. Evan, how are we doing today this morning?
I'm doing really well. I'm feeling pretty motivated. Hence the
That's good.
topic on motivation. I look around at society and I just see the way that people carry themselves. We've become so casual in terms of dress. I mean, you see people that are just coming out the restaurants, they're wearing Crocs and sweatpants and hoodies, and people just don't
Hmm.
appear to take good care of themselves in general. Now, maybe that's different in other cities, but even talking to people, like when I bought a sport coat, I talked to the guy at the suit store, and he agreed with me that over the last 20 years, people have just become so casual. And with that casual dress, I think it really changes people's level of motivation. When I'm in sweatpants and a hoodie, I feel less motivated and less like ready to charge the world, as opposed to when I have on even something as simple as a polo. So I think maybe that's part of it, but I know there's a lot of chemical and neurotransmitter and gut reactions, that are involved too. So what do you think? I mean, am I onto something with the clothing? Have you seen a change even in your lifetime with people?
Well, I think people like I talk to a lot of patients and friends. They're like, "Oh, you get to work from home and see patients all over the world. That's awesome. Must be so easy to just to kind of get up and get ready." I'm like, "Well, I still shower and kind of get ready like I'm going to an office anyway. I want to look good. I want to feel good. I want to feel clean. I want to feel fresh. Plus, I want to be able to jump on a video or see a patient. I want to have a higher level of professionalism in how I look." So, yeah, I do think there's energy, like you said, and just looking the part, dressing the part, feeling good, right? I think that all helps. Like it all
Yeah.
moves the needle. That makes
Yeah.
sense.
Well, let's hit some of the root causes of it. I mean, low motivation in general. The first thing that I think of, and maybe your average listeners thinking of, they listen to this for a while, they're going to think low dopamine, and that's certainly one potential root cause. And we can measure that using urine organic acids testing. So we'll look at the markers for dopamine on that test, and we can see. And I would say 90% of people I test are pretty low, and the other 10% are people that have Clostridia, bacterial overgrowth. You and I've talked about this before. We did a whole show on Clostridia, I believe. But the mechanism is that if you have Clostridia, which is a certain type of bacteria in the gut, that will actually inhibit the enzyme dopamine beta hydroxylase, and then you have this buildup of dopamine. So you'll have some of these mood issues that'll happen because of your gut. So if you fix your gut, that high dopamine marker normalizes. But otherwise, I see generally pretty low dopamine. And maybe you and I can kind of break down why is that happening. I think chronic stress is a big one, but I wonder if there's a role of like excess caffeine. Have you seen anything with like too much coffee or stimulants depleting dopamine? What about drugs like the Adderall drugs and that kind of stuff?
Yeah, I think with motivation, it's a couple things, right? So we have kind of the psychological kind of mindset aspect. I think that's really important. So I think number one, you have to enjoy what you're doing, or you have to at least kind of know where your talents and your skill sets are at. So you can work on doing things that one, you enjoy, and two, you're actually good at, so you can perform at a higher level, right? I think it's a combination of those two things. And I think also there's some people that, what if you're not good at things, right? And so I think early on, if you're younger and listening to this as you grow up, you really want to look at developing talent stacks and skill sets. And you really want to look at the marketplace and say, where does the market, where is there gaps in the marketplace in regards to skills, whether it's on the health side or on the tech side or on engineering? You really want to look at kind of where you can kind of plug yourself into the marketplace and where there are opportunity. And then I think it's also good to evaluate kind of your natural talents and your skill sets. You can kind of look at, what people have always told you you're good at. There's different tests out there, whether it's a Myers-Briggs personality test or there's, I think, another test out there called a DISC test. There's different tests out there that kind of help you understand kind of where your natural talents are at. And then also just really observing and being aware of what you really enjoy doing. Usually things that you enjoy doing tend to be better at it because you don't mind working harder at it. I think those are important. So then when you start doing things, you really enjoy it. Now, on the physiological side, chronic stress will either acutely raise cortisol, and over time that cortisol can become lower, which can affect energy and mood and cause your body to break down faster. And of course, that same level of adrenal stress can also lower dopamine, lower adrenaline, which can then affect focus and motivation at a biochemical neurological level too. So I think it's good to look at both of those, and we can test the adrenal glands and know what's happening at the adrenal level. We can also look at the neurotransmitters via organic acid testing and look at various metabolites for homovanillate, um, which is a metabolite for dopamine, and then vanilmandelate, which is a metabolite for adrenaline. So we can get a window into both of those metabolites and see how the brain is functioning on the inside.
Yeah, that's a great point. People that are just doing stuff they don't enjoy. I mean, how are you going to be motivated for life if you wake up and you don't enjoy it? I mean, I've talked to the guy who picks up our garbage and he loves it. He loves his job. He loves driving around a big truck all day and he makes great money doing it and he's happy. So some people would look at that and say, "Oh, this garbage man, what a terrible life." And some people they enjoy it. So I do think ultimately, as they say, if you love what you do, you never work a day in your life. I still love what I do, but I feel like it's still work. I mean, I enjoy it, but when I'm away from it for too long on vacation, I don't enjoy it as much. I'd rather be working. I really do. I love helping people. I'm really addicted to the hustle and grind of helping people feel better. There's so many people suffering. So for you and I think we're in a good spot on loving what we do. But then on the brain chemistry side, I would say that I certainly struggled when I had gut issues. I certainly struggled with low energy and partly low motivation and low focus. And for a period of time, I had trouble even reading certain books. Like my brain, I just couldn't process it. I had to reread certain phrases, or if someone said a phone number to me, I couldn't remember just a simple 7-digit phone number. So I definitely had some brain fog associated with gut issues. And on paper, my endorphins and my dopamine was a bit low. So I think looking into these mechanisms, I would say candida is something we should mention too, because we know that candida produces acetaldehyde, which is kind of similar to an alcohol molecule. And so some people are a little bit drunk on their own candida overgrowth. So if you're somebody that
Correct.
has a lot of sugar cravings, or if you have a white coated tongue, or if you've tested positive for candida on urine organic acids or stool testing, we've got to fix that candida because that's directly going to impact your mood, your motivation, and your focus.
100%. Now, when I work with patients, right, and I look at a lot of the physiological imbalances. So let's say there's hormonal issues. Let's say it's a female. They have estrogen dominance, right? Lower progesterone, estrogen's out of whack. They have a lot of PMS, mood issues, irritability issues. They have poor energy because of, chronic adrenal stress. They're not digesting their food well. There's a lot of mitochondrial imbalances with B vitamins and CoQ10 and carnitine. It's hard to be motivated when you have a lot of these physiological imbalances because it takes fuel to run the system. And so when I look at patients and I try to get them motivated to fix these things, it's hard to get someone motivated to just fix their mitochondria or fix their adrenals. So I always look at like, hey, what are these health challenges that you're having right now? What are they preventing you from being, doing, or having in your life right now? Like, what do you want to be doing, do, or have in your life that you're not able to because of your energy or because of your chronic digestion and because of your mood issues? What is that? And so I try to get really clear on what those things are. Because if I can figure out, hey, well, it's affecting me from working a full day, it's affecting me from being able to spend quality time with my kids, then we can lean on, okay, we're going to make these diet changes so we can help you get back to spending better time with your kids, or so we can have you focusing and doing better at work and closing deals, whatever that is. So if we figure out the why, then we can lean on that why to get people to make the right changes. Because it's the why is the essence of it. And that really helps get people motivated. So there's the mindset motivation, and then there's the physiological biochemical side. So we want to work on both. And so when I tell people to make these diet changes, it's not just making these diet changes. Hey, we're going to do this so we can help move the needle in this area or that area. So it's kind of like, you're using psychological tactics to help keep your patients motivated is also important.
Nice. That's a really good point. We have some part of our population where they're just biohacker people who want to see the numbers, right? They want to see the numbers get better. And they're happy enough to see the succinic acid go from a 24 down to a 5. And we go, okay, great. We've had major progress. The mitochondria look better on paper. Some of our people, they're cool with just the numbers. But I agree with you. You got to bring in the emotional piece too, because it's not enough to say, hey, I want to get your dopamine higher. It's, hey, I want to get your dopamine higher because I want you to have enough energy to get out of bed, make your bed, get dressed, wear something nice, get to the office, as you said, close the deal. There's a whole symphony of emotion and the neurotransmitters, the mitochondria, the adrenals all firing together to make life nice and make life enjoyable. And I just see that the number one leading cause of disability in the US is depression. And so I don't know. I just feel like there's so much untapped potential and untapped productivity out of the population if we could just simply get the gut improved, get the mitochondria improved, get the neurotransmitters improved. I mean, we could totally transform the country.
Yeah, I totally agree. I mean, I think simply out of the gates, it starts with food. So it starts with high quality food, organic, right? Low toxin, eating good proteins, eating good fats. I think being more of a fat burner for most people is super important because we just tend to, if you just look at macronutrient trends over the last 50, 60 years, we're just consuming more processed carbohydrate. And of course, the fats have shifted to more kind of polyunsaturated omega-6 kind of vegetable oil. So number one, I think out of the gate is we switch to higher quality, better, more stable fats, whether it's on the grass-fed meat, high quality fish, or if we do any plants, it's going to be more in the monos, right? Olive oil, some avocado, those kind of things. And that's important on the fat. And then we try to restrict a lot of the refined grains and refined sugar. I think that's a good kind of first step, and make sure the quality is there in regards to organic and no added hormones and things like that and antibiotics. I think that's a good starting point right there. And then from there, we can look at the different hormonal systems. So if we have chronically high cortisol, usually that's more of an acute thing, but that can cause anxiety and that can cause irritability. Usually there's a tired but wired kind of thing there. And then, of course, as we have chronic stress, that adrenal pattern can move more into a lower cortisol state, and that can cause energy, low motivation, low mood. So we want to really look at the adrenals. They are part of that stress handling system. So when we look at the things that drive the adrenals, it's physical, chemical, and emotional stress. And so we want to make sure there's nothing on the emotional side that's driving a problem, right? Marriage issues, kid issues, financial issues, whatever that is, we have to make sure we're at least addressing it and it's in our forefront. We're not just kind of putting our head in the sand. Physically, we have to make sure we're not over exercising or under. So we're getting some movement, we're moving our muscles, but we're not overly sedentary, and we're not doing things to cause us to be in pain, right? So that's important. Or if we're chronically in pain, to see a soft tissue person or a chiropractor to really get to the root on that. And then, of course, what we really focus on is the underlying hidden chemical stressors. That's just the food sensitivities, the gut imbalances, the dysbiosis, the leaky gut, the hormonal imbalances, the low thyroid, the adrenal imbalances, the hormonal issues, the mitochondrial dysfunction, the toxicities, mold, heavy metals, right? So this is where we really come in there and focus on those chemical stressors that play a major input on the adrenals. And when we chronically stress the adrenals, adrenaline is also produced by the adrenals to kind of get cortisol mobilized, and chronic adrenaline stimulation will pull dopamine, because adrenaline is a postcursor essentially to dopamine. So it goes dopamine, adrenaline. And so if we're chronically in a stressed out state, your body will make adrenaline and it will pull from dopamine to make adrenaline. And dopamine is important for that I love you feeling. It's really important for focus, dealing with stress, staying motivated. And so we have to get the underlying reason why we're pulling that dopamine downstream. We have to get the adrenals fully supported.
Yeah, well said. I'm glad you mentioned heavy metals too. I mean, people and their brain issues could simply be related to mercury toxicity. If you're someone just walking around and you've got a mouthful of amalgam fillings, we know those are estimated 50-ish% mercury, give or take. And we know that mercury directly affects dopamine. If you simply just type in mercury and Parkinson's or mercury and Alzheimer's, there's a lot of links to these toxins and brain neurodegenerative issues. So if you're somebody who's just poor motivation and it's more on the extreme side, you might need to get these amalgams out of your mouth. Now, for my grandfather, he's pushing 80 years old. Believe it or not, the local biological dentist said if he's already having memory issues, it's too late. The issue of pulling out the mercury could create more problems. So honestly, he just said leave it alone. But if you're 40, 50, 60, 70, maybe you're still at that age where you can start working on heavy metal detox. Maybe you're using some sort of binder in the meantime. But ultimately, you've got to remove the source. So, I mean, if you've got heavy metals in your mouth, no matter how much chlorella or charcoal or clay you take, you still got metal in your mouth. So that could be a huge issue for your motivation, and you got to resolve it.
100% out of the gates. Also, low thyroid can be a thing. Low thyroid can affect mitochondrial function. It can affect mood. It can affect energy. Obviously, thyroid hormone plays a major role in your overall metabolism. And if your metabolism is low and slow, more than likely your motivation will be low. So it's really good to look at thyroid function. Now, if you go to your conventional doctor, they're just going to look at TSH typically. And again, if your TSH is overly high, let's say greater than 3.5, 4, that's probably a pretty good sign. There's probably thyroid issues downstream happening, with T4 being on the lower side, or T3 definitely being, let's say, below that 3.0 marker in the United States metrics. But again, TSH may still be adequate, let's say below 3, and you may still have problems with thyroid hormone downstream, with T4, with T3. Maybe there's some elevated antibodies because there's some autoimmunity that's kind of like smoldering there. So you really want to look at running a full thyroid panel, and your conventional medical doctor will typically not do it. So you got to reach out to kind of a more natural functional medicine person to do it. So if you guys want to get that kind of testing done, Evan and I, we all do that testing. So evanbrand.com, justinhealth.com. There's links there where you can work with us if you want to get that type of more in-depth testing looked at. But low thyroid can be a deal breaker. And most thyroid issues are autoimmune. So you have to fix the gut, you have to fix the food, you have to fix all of the digestive issues to really get that usually under control.
Yeah, good point. Bringing up thyroid, so I'll bring up another kind of related one, which would be anemias, right? I mean, if you've got low
Yep.
ferritin, for example, you're going to be so exhausted if you have some type of anemia that's really going to affect your motivation as well. So I get kind of annoyed, to be honest with you, when I see people posting these motivational tracks. It's usually some super fit dude, possibly looks like he's on steroids. He's flipping a tire, and they're like yelling over the microphone, and it's like, you got to get up and you got to just do it. And it's like, you can't just do it. Like, I love that you're, 28 years old, or maybe you're on growth hormone and you're flipping these tires and you're motivated, but that type of talk only goes so far. And from our functional medicine mindset, like I said, I get kind of annoyed because then you have this woman who's maybe 50, 55, and she looks at herself in the mirror and she's not happy with what she sees. She's got insulin resistance. The diet's not dialed in. The gut's affected. The neurotransmitters are low. The mitochondria are damaged because she got exposed to tick bites and mold. And like this motivational dude ranting over the microphone, he doesn't have a friggin' clue about any of these functional strategies. And so then people think that motivation is just this simple thing that you can just turn on or turn off. And if I could just get motivated, I could do this or that. And it's like, look, it's way deeper than that. It's way deeper than this dude just giving you some hoorah, jump in the CrossFit class. And
Yeah.
I mean, I could rant on this all day.
Yeah, I'm not a big fan of the rah-rah stuff because it ignores physiology. I mean, I think the rah-rah stuff can be helpful if it shifts your mindset, but mindset cannot overcome physiology in the long run. It's like people go to an Anthony Robbins event. I think Tony Robbins is great. He has a lot of strategies, mindset stuff, but you come out of these events so motivated, and then it's like, all right, now what, right? And it's kind of like you're driving your car, right? Your old used car, nothing wrong with it, but you're on E. Some guy comes up next to you in like a Ferrari and it's like, man, you just got to hit the gas pedal, go. And it's like he hits the gas pedal, he's out of sight. And you're like, yeah, but like I don't have fuel in my car. And I got a 4-cylinder, 100 horsepower car here. I can't do it. So the first thing you got to do is, right, metaphorically, is you have to fill your tank up with gas. Get the gas in the tank so you have fuel. And then over time, upgrade your car, which is upgrade your health, right? And so we start with food quality. We start with good fats and proteins. We start with addressing glycemia issues, not overdoing or removing the processed sugar and the grains, dialing in the carbs for what you need, sleeping better. That's like trading in your car at the car dealership, right? That literally, just by doing that, you're starting to upgrade it internally. And then, of course, from there, we can always go down the functional medicine path and look at these different hormone systems, adrenals, thyroid, gut function, mitochondrial nutrients. But we can at least start to upgrade the car and the fuel by making these simple lifestyle choices that are free. And then from that gives you more motivation. And now you have more energy. Now your brain's clearer. So now you can, be very clear on what your goals are. You can get very motivated. You can set timelines to your goals, right? What's the difference between a goal and a dream? A goal has essentially a dream with an endpoint, a timeline on it, right? Hey, I'm going to achieve this by this point, right? So take your dreams, make them a goal by putting a end date on it and some action items to go on it. And that takes energy and focus. And if your brain's foggy and you're overly tired, that's going to be problematic. So I think just work on those simple things. And then once you get a little more motivation there, then it's like, what's next? And so the things that I look at when people are stressed and depleted, brain inflammation plays a major role with low motivation. So if we can cut out the foods, if we can add in the B vitamins, B6, magnesium, good, healthy omega-3 fatty acids, that's going to help with the brain inflammation. That's going to help with the neurotransmitters. And then from there, we got to look deeper at the bugs. And this could be SIBO, bacterial overgrowth, H. pylori, parasites, and getting the gut really cleaned out is going to help chill out a lot of the brain inflammation, because inflammation is bidirectional. Inflammation in the body can make its way to the gut and create problems. Inflammation in the gut can make its way out of the gut into the bloodstream by leaky gut permeability and cause inflammation in the brain.
Yeah, well said. I mean, we could start to bring in some of those band-aids, like you mentioned, like the omegas. We could bring in some phosphatidylserine or phosphatidylcholine. We could bring in, as you mentioned, the B vitamins, maybe some ginkgo, possibly nootropics, like the Rastam family is pretty pretty common, phenylparacetam or others, oxiracetam. There's a lot of nootropics out there that you can use, but there's so many people like in the tech industry and stuff that are taking these different nootropics, but they're not addressing anything in regards to their gut or anything with their hormones. So I think it's a
Yeah, I have
little
a product in my
short-sighted.
line called Dopa Replete Plus, which has tyrosine and it'll have a little bit of actual pure L-Dopa in there. That's a good one. Or if someone's coming out of the gate, I would just using pure tyrosine, pure L-tyrosine with some high quality B vitamins can be really helpful because you need the B vitamins as a cofactor to really help convert some of these neurotransmitters to some of these amino acids to become the actual neurotransmitters.
Yeah, and you can feel it pretty quick. I mean, that's the cool thing about amino acids is, as you mentioned, a lot of times, when we pitch people our services, we're like, hey, sign up, give us a call, evanbrand.com, justinhealth.com. People they have to have enough motivation or have to be miserable enough to do that. And sometimes I don't even think people, and they know they want the help, but I don't even think they have enough motivation to even call us and reach out to us. So if you're one of those people, we're here. But in the meantime, yeah, maybe you use a little bit of tyrosine to get you motivated enough to even reach out to get further help. Because I think a lot of people get overwhelmed at what it's going to entail in regards to diet changes. Like, oh, that's overwhelming. You're going to make me cut this out. And lifestyle changes. You're going to make me cut that out. Like, oh my God. Or now I got to go to bed at 9 o'clock. That's too hard. So we use these little tools, these functional medicine tools to help motivate people to get them through the protocol because you and I could design a perfect protocol. Mitochondrial support. We've got the gut dialed in. We've got the detox, the binders. We've got the liver, the gallbladder, the adrenals. It's all taken care of, but it's only if somebody follows through. So then you get to the part of compliance, which we could do part 2 on that if you want. Like, how do you stay on track? But making the plan and getting the labs is the first step, and then getting people to follow through is the second one. I think
Yeah.
progress ultimately gets people going because they'll feel how much better they are, but sometimes we'll use some of these brain nutrients just to give them the oomph to get through and follow through.
Yeah, and like from a mindset perspective, it's kind of like if you ever pushed a car before, right? You push a car. The hardest thing with pushing a car is overcoming the initial inertia of the car not moving to moving, right? So that's the hardest part. And so when we're dealing with people's health inertia, it's just getting a couple of habits moving in the direction that allows the car to start moving. Now, the amount of energy you need to put into that car to keep it moving is far less, right? It's far less because you overcome that initial inertia of it being stuck to moving. And so that's kind of what health is. You kind of make a couple of small changes. Now the ball's rolling. And then now you can add, you can just tweak the sleep a little bit, add a little bit of movement in there, add a couple of supplements. And now we have a lot more momentum and it becomes even easier to keep that going. And then, of course, the key is now, okay, all the energy going into it, we're moving through the 4 steps of learning, right? It's unconscious, uncompetence. You don't know what you don't know what you don't know. Now you're consciously uncompetent. You know what you don't know. You're at least aware of these things. And then you go from step 2 to step 3, where you're consciously competent. Someone's helping you, but it's a lot of energy to keep doing the right things. And then ideally, you start to move into the level of unconscious competence where it's automatic, right? It's like someone who drives a standard transmission. Everyone who's done that, they know, like they're starting off, they're like clutch, shift, what? Their head's going down, looking at the gearbox, they're up. It's tough, right? But then eventually it's like clutch, shift, 1, 2, 3, right? It's easy. Downshift, no problem. You don't have to worry about it. It's like you're an automatic transmission because you get the whole thing. So that's kind of what a lot of these habits are, is you just start with the ones that really bear the most fruit, and then you go up from there. And so that's kind of how I look at it out of the gates.
Well, look, you just did it live on camera because you're like, oh, well, here we are talking about boosting the brain, and then boom, you whip out a capsule, and boom, you pop your aminos just like that. So, I mean, that's kind of how I am too with protocol. I mean, I'll just feel how I am. Oh, I need a little bit of this, a little bit of that, and I'm just constantly making these micro calculations throughout the day. Oh, little low here, I'm going to hit this. Oh, stressful day, hit the adrenals a little harder. Oop, moldy building, hit the binders. So we're constantly making these tweaks, and it's just a really good place to be.
Yep. And I'm going to go hit some push-ups and some kettlebell swings, a little bit of rowing here in a minute. And I'm going to, use some adaptogens here too. So I just try to, surround myself with good tools that I can plug into throughout the day to keep that momentum going. And then, foundational things like food, water, sleep. So just make sure and then of course you can plug in some movement along there, right? So those are your 3 to 4 big check marks that you got to hit during the day. And as you start getting that, then you can build up from there, and that gets you that foundation you need.
Yeah, sleep is huge. So we've done podcasts on that, but we're always happy to do more. So we'll wrap it up for now, though. People can reach out if they need. We work around the world via FaceTime, Zoom, Skype, phone, however we need to connect, we can do it. We send labs everywhere. And you can reach out to Dr. J at justinhealth.com. And you can reach out to me, Evan Brand, evanbrand.com, and we're happy to help. And we'll look into some of these things. We'll help investigate what could be going on. Why are you struggling? We know that you want to get that dream business or that dream goal, but you got to make that a reality by optimizing these systems. And that's exactly what we do on ourselves on a day-to-day basis. Justin literally just boosted his neurotransmitters as we're talking here. So, once you get these tools in place, you're going to just thrive and you can take over the world if that's what you want to do.
100%. evanbrand.com, justinhealth.com. I'll put links and recommendations for different things that we talked about product-wise in the description of the video. Evan, awesome chatting with you as always, my friend. We'll talk soon.
You too, man. Take care.
Have a good one, y'all. Bye now.
Bye-bye.